Good afternoon, grade 8 and teachers and learners. Welcome to the VLRP lesson. My name is Ntempanya. Today's lesson is on parts of speech. Take note that parts of speech must not be confused with figures of speech. And at the end of this lesson, teachers will get a link and QR code which they must share with their learners so that they can be able to access the Microsoft quiz. Right. The following 4 parts of speech will be discussed, namely verbs, nouns, adjectives, and adverbs. How do you define parts of speech? It is a category to which a word is assigned in accordance with its syntactic functions. Syntax is the arrangement of words and phrases to create well-formed sentences in a language. Let us use the following sentence in which I use different colors to indicate how these words and phrases are arranged. This is the following sentence. Look at the following sentence. The online lesson takes place virtually. Now, as I indicated here that I use different colors to indicate how these words or phrases are arranged. Firstly, we have the noun or the word online, which indicate adjective. We have word lesson, which is a noun. We have a phrasal verb takes place, which indicates a verb. Why a phrasal verb? Because it is made out of more than one word. And then lastly, we have virtually, which is our adverb. Let us look at the verbs. What is a verb? A verb is a word that indicates the following. A physical action, for example, I drive. A mental action, for example, I think, or a state of being. In this case, I exist. In short, a verb is a doing word. What are types of verbs? The following are common type of verbs. We have action verbs that describe action. For example, I cry, we imagine they smile. We have regular verbs, which are verbs whose past tense versions are formed by adding the suffix ed to the end. For example, a noun like walk, if it is changed into past tense, it becomes walked. And the noun end, if you write it in the past tense, it becomes ended. Hence, whose past tense versions add ed. So I hope you'll understand what it means by past tense versions. This is the present tense version. This is the past tense version. We also have auxiliary verbs. These are minor verbs that support the sentence main verb. For example, our auxiliary verbs will be have, has, shall, will, is, are, do, does, and their past tense versions. Now, if you use the word or the sentence, I shall walk, shall will be our minor verb, which is an auxiliary verb, while walk will be our main verb. Therefore, shall become the minor verb, which helps the main verb. Let's go to nouns. What is a noun? A noun is a word that refers to A thing, for example, a book, a person like Paul, an animal, for example, a cat, a place like Paul, a quality like softness, an idea, for example, justice, or an action like what I'm doing now, I am presenting. Those are the nouns. What are types of nouns? The following are type of nouns. We have singular and plural nouns. For example, a book in its singular form will be a book, while in its plural form will become books. But those are still nouns, one in singular form and the other one in plural form. We have common nouns like a baby. We have proper nouns like Paul and Mateo. That proper nouns, the first letter must be in capital letters. So Paul, the first letter, which is P, must be written in capital letters. And in the case of Mateo, the first letter being M must also be in capital letters. We have collective nouns. These are nouns which refer to a specific grouping. For example, we have a phrase here, pride of lions. Our collective here will be pride. We have concrete nouns. These are nouns which one can see or touch, e.g., I can see and touch the book. We also have abstract nouns. Now, if concrete nouns, seen and touch, in abstract nouns cannot be touched or be felt. Like, for an example, cold. You cannot touch, but you can feel cold. We have compound nouns. It's a noun made out of 2 or 3 words. For example, free state. It's a name, but it's made out of 2 independent nouns. Let us go to the types of adjectives and their examples. The adjectives are words that describe or give more information or modify a noun or another adjective. There are 2 ways in which you can use adjectives in a sentence. Firstly, there are adjectives that are usually placed before the nouns they describe. For an example, the shirt is very small. He completed difficult tasks. Secondly, we have adjectives that may also follow the noun they describe. This game is exciting and English is fun, right? Let's go back to our first example. Look at where the adjective is. It is placed before the noun small. Adjective difficult is placed before the noun task. Whereas in the second example, an adjective is placed, the noun follows the adjectives. And then here, the noun is followed by an adjective. While here, an adjective follows a noun, but here, a noun is followed by an adjective. We also have suffixes such as OUS, FUL, ISH, and ABLE that usually designate adjectives. For example, we have a noun poison. If we add OUS, it becomes poisonous. So poisonous becomes an adjective and not no more a noun. We also have the noun help. If we add FUL, it becomes an adjective, helpful. In the case of a child, if we add ISH, one becomes childish. And for manage, if we add ABLE, the task becomes manageable. Let's go to verbs. What are verbs? They are words that describe or modify a noun. For example, he sings loudly. And adjectives, he is very tall. Another adverb, ended too quickly, or even a whole sentence. Fortunately, I had brought an umbrella. The following are examples of the 7 most common adverbs. We have adverbs of manner. In this case, we can use quickly, slowly, and carefully. We have degree, where we can use very, extremely, quiet, etc. We also have adverbs of manner, where we can use here, there, everywhere. Adverbs of time, now, then, soon. We have interrogative adverbs. Remember, the word interrogative can also mean question. When you interrogate something, you are questioning it. Therefore, interrogative verbs will be when, where, how. We have adverbs of frequency, like always, never, often. And lastly, we have relative adverbs with whence or whither, which mean from whatever place. Thank you very much for joining this session. And this is the QR code, which will lead you to our Microsoft quiz on parts of speech. I hope you enjoy the session. And thank you very much for joining the presentation. I wish you a very well afternoon.